What's up, nail geeks? I am back again with Pahlish Pickup September 2020. It's that time of month again, and we've got another awesome release for Pahlish Pickup. This month we have the theme All Hallows Eve or Halloween. So much fun. There's lots of spooky things to check out. I've got lots of goodies and little mini tutorials for you guys, so let's dive right in. First up is Alchemy Lacquers. She brings us Blood Moon. This is described as a navy base with pink to red to purple to orange, shifting transparent flakes, turquoise holographic glitter, holographic flakes, and turquoise to purple flakes. This is inspired by a total lunar eclipse. Price is $11.50 and there's a cap of 150 US and 10 UK bottles. So this has a bit of a kind of crelly-like feel to it. I do feel like it leans just a touch more on the jelly side. So for opacity, I'm going to suggest 3 coats on it. Now, if you have shorties or you have a less prominent free edge than what I have, you might be able to get away with 2 coats on it. But as you can see between the second and third coat, I think it really pops and plumps out very well on that third coat. So the base color, I do agree, is definitely a lovely navy. It does have just a slight, subtle, kind of dusky feel to it. Now, as you build it up, it definitely darkens out, true to a jelly-like finish. But the flakes in it are very prominent, so you'll easily see them in these nice purples and orange and pinks. Very similar to what you see on the video. I feel like this is a good representation. Now, this one does dry down quite a bit on the flat side, so you're going to want to use a really good glossy top coat. And in this video, you are seeing me use the Glisten and Glow Quick Dry Glossy Top Coat on all polishes, and more on that later. And Apipila brings us Red 7. This is a cool toned red that can be used for stamping or as a regular polish. Price on this one will be $10 and there's a cap of 300 US and 20 UK. So first I'm showing you guys how it looks when you wear it on its own. Now I wore this by itself at 2 coats, very light type of coats. So if you go in just a touch heavier, you might be able to get away with 1 coat on it, but I'm still going to recommend 2 light coats on it. And that's just because I feel like this type of red, it is creamy, but it does have just a touch of a dense jelly-like feel during application. So just please know on this first and second coat, I am going very thin on my coats. Now, when you build it up at that second coat, you can see it's got that really nice, cool toned, very true red type appearance. And then here I'm showing you guys how it looks stamped against a white base. So I'm using one of my favorite Halloween plates. This is from Queen and it stamps very well. It shows up very easily over medium to light colors. Now I did stamp it over black and I found that it was quite a bit on the subtle side. So in my opinion, my personal preference, I think this is going to look best over those medium tones and the very light tones. Now, Apipila is also bringing us a nail stamping top coat. This is a water-based top coat and will be $13 on release with a 300 US and 20 UK cap. Now, what's really awesome about water-based top coats, they are excellent for holographic polishes. They will not dull the holographic effect to those linear hollows. And when you use it for nail art, you can go in very rough against your nail on stamps and there's no smearing. So the spiderweb stamp you're seeing here is freshly done. It has not dried down all the way. And you can see I had no smearing with that top coat. So you can use any type of top coat and it won't smear. So it basically creates this water-based barrier between any nail art or, if you will, a holographic effect. And there's no bleeding through. So sometimes when you stamp with like a white polish against, say, like this red, then a lot of times you'll have a bleeding through effect and then your white stamp appears pink. So really cool versatility with this one, especially if you're into holographic finishes and nail art. And Baroness X brings us Zombified. This is a fluid art polish described as a navy jelly multichrome base with shifts from teal to green to blue to violet and burgundy on the far end of the shift. Inspired by the skin of living dead zombies, price is $11.50 and there is a cap of 360 US and 25 UK. So I'm changing it up this month. Instead of making 4 separate smaller decals, I'm making one massive one. So I know on the video it looks a little bit on the smaller side. This is definitely a massive decal that I'm making. So you're going to want to use a silicone mat of some type. Again, a baking mat, a nail mat, something like that will work perfectly for this. Now I'm changing it up once again, and I'm doing the fluid art polish on the bottom. The more I do this, the more practice I get with it. I think I'm getting more of a hang of how to do these, and I'm getting a little more comfortable with how to make these designs. You want to make your decal with some type of base color on the bottom. I'm using a blurple jelly in this one, and then I layered it off with the fluid art polish, and then I'm using a drugstore, I think it's a Sally Hansen if I'm remembering correctly, like a white curly type of polish. And then I let it dry down. So dry down for this specific decal. So I went and basically just cleaned for a little bit. I want to say it was maybe 30 to 40 minutes. And you really want your design to not be 100% dried down, in that it will come up crispy and then you can't apply it to your nails. So you need this to be somewhat tacky, but dry enough to where you can pull up your decal and it's still soft. So I'm using a water marble tool from What's Up Nails here, and I'm just gently poking at the edges here just to test out if it's ready for me to pull up, which it is. Now, what I thought was really cool about this fluid art polish is the multi-chrome effect to it is very, very strong. So you'll get this very strong, ethereal type of bluish, turquoise, bluish type of shift to it with an easy shift over to purple. It's a very strong shimmer-like multi-chrome effect. Now, I use a normal scissors and I just cut it down to the size that I want. And this next step is optional, in that I personally like to wear some type of base on the bottom of it, and it just makes it to where your decal sticks better to your nails. If your decal is tacky enough, you may not need to use this step, but I personally like to do this just as extra insurance to ensure that my decal is going to stick. Now, the nice thing about this method also is if your decal is just a touch too small, like it was on mine, it's tacky enough to where I can stretch the decal a little bit to fit my nail even better. So lots of versatility, and I think this is a really awesome fluid art polish. Now, Baroness X is also bringing us a brand spanking new acetone antidote scent. This is Caramel Apple Crisp. You basically add it on into 100% pure acetone. It gives you the power of polish removal with the acetone, but it leaves your skin moisturized and a lingering scent afterwards. This month's scent smells awesome. It is straight up caramel goodness. I do get a nutty aftertone with it, with the apple smell on the very bottom, which is very crisp. If you are a caramel lover or a sweets lover like that, this is so good. And Blush Lacquers brings us Corn Maze. This is a light tan polish with yellow tones, gold flakes, and holographic micro flakes. This is inspired by the fall tradition of walking through a corn maze. Price is $11.50 and there is no cap on it. Fun fact, last year my son and I got incredibly lost in a corn maze on one of his field trips in the fall. It was super fun. So lots of memories in terms of corn mazes. They're awesome. Now, the formula on this one is quite a bit on the curly side. It self-levels very well. It's super smooth on the brush strokes, easy to apply. Now, for opacity on it, I'm going to suggest between 2 and 3 coats. This is really going to depend on how you apply and the strength of your free edge, in that I personally took it up to 3 coats and I thought it plumped beautifully against my nails. But as you can see on this second coat here, it does give quite a bit of lovely opacity, but you can see a touch of my smile line in it. It was noticeable to me after I pulled my hand out of my light box, so I went in for a 3rd thin coat, and I really liked how that looked. Again, it plumps out really nicely, and you'll get that nice scattering of those flakes on your nails. It gives a nice pond effect, so you'll see the layers of flakes in between your coats. And by Dany Vianna brings us Samhain. This is an orange to brown jelly base with Aurora shimmer. This is inspired by the origin of Halloween. Price is $12 and there is a cap of $280 US and $20 UK. So this color, this polish itself, in my opinion, is incredibly unique. It's very different and I really like it. So the base color, as you build it up, is almost like this burnt orange type of shade. There is a brown lean to it, but I think mostly you're going to see that nice burnt orangey type of appearance to it. Now this is positively packed full of Aurora shimmer, and for opacity, I'm going to suggest between 2 and 3 coats. The formula on it is incredibly smooth, which I've come to expect from this brand. Very easy to apply. It's got that nice glassy type of feel as you're doing your brush strokes. It dries down kind of semi-gloss, so I think any top coat will be just fine for it. Now, I think if you have shorter nails, you might get away with 2 coats, but I would recommend going in thin and doing 3 coats with it. At 3 coats, that shimmer really starts to just kind of take over and give you this strong copperish-like glow. Now, at a very, very extreme angles, you can see a touch of a green type of shift to the shimmer. But in indoor and bright lights, you'll see it like what you see on the video here. It's really lovely, very unique type of color. Now, by Dany Vianna also brings us a special effect topper this month. This is Traveling Witches, described as a thermal topper that goes from clear to black with a mix of green, copper, and purple microflakes, inspired by Traveling Witches on glittering brooms. Price is $11.50 and there's a cap of 280 US and 20 UK. So I am in the South. I am very, very much still in very warm weather. So please note that the bottle shot and what you're seeing on my nails, I'm running very warm myself. My lights typically warm me up quite a bit too while I'm swatching. So in warm temperatures, it's definitely going to come off as this clear effect. It's almost got a milky appearance to it as well. But when it is cold, that it is definitely a nice stark black. There is those nice colored flakes in them. They are of the very small variety, so you'll get that very fine type of particle effect from them. And you can absolutely wear this on its own. I just chose to be a little bit different and wear it with an orange cream. This is an orange from China Glaze, if memory is serving me right, and I thought it looked really cool as a nice Halloween-y type of overall look. And Cameo Colors Lacquers brings us Feed Me. This is a green to silver to fuchsia ultra chrome base chock full of hollow sparkle, red to bronze to copper, blue to violet to copper, and violet to blue to green UCC flakes, a dash of gold metallic micro flakes, and silver hollow micro flakes. This is inspired by Little Shop of Horrors. Price is $12 and there's a cap of 95 US and 5 UK bottles. So this has a very crelly-like feel on application. It builds up very dense on the nail, very easy to reach to opacity. Now I'm going to suggest between 2 to 3 coats. I took it up to 3 coats just to really darken it out. Once I hit that second coat, I was curious to see what a third coat would look like. And honestly, I think it could go either way, regardless of how you wear it, either at 2 or 3 coats. Now, this does have a strong sparkle-like effect that's decently dense across the nail, and there's a lot of small to medium-sized flakes in here that have their own rainbow-like effect against that base color. So in bright lights, it's definitely this silvery type of green, and at very extreme angles, you'll see that fuchsia, almost purplish-like glow with it. It is on the subtle side in terms of shift. And Crystal Knockout brings us Stingy Jack. This is a bright orange filled with multi-chrome flakes in green to purple and copper, inspired by jack-o'-lanterns. Price is $11 and there is no cap on it. So the formula on this is very crelly-like, but it applies super creamy on the nail. This is very, very opaque. I almost want to classify it as a 1-coater, but I'm going to suggest 2 light coats on this one. There's quite a bit of squish on the formula, so just to get everything nice and even and level, go in light on 2 coats. This is super smooth, very buttery like formula, and you can see on this second coat it plumps up very nicely. Now that base color, I do agree that it's a bright orange. I'm hesitant to classify it as an orange, as a neon, as it's not quite eye-searing, but it is very bright in person. This is what I would consider a true pumpkin-y type of squash type of orange. Cupcake Polish brings us How Do You Like Meow? This is a black 1-coater linear hollow that can also be used for stamping. This is inspired by Black Cats. Price is $13 and there is no cap on it. So when I applied this one, I actually went in very, very thin on my coats. I personally like to wear 1-coaters at 2 thinner coats. I think it plumps it out really nicely. So please note that I am wearing it how I would personally apply it in. And even though I'm going in quite a bit on the light side and thin side on this first coat, you can see after I've reloaded my brush here, it's still a 1-coater. So really, really dense on how it builds up. I didn't have any problems in terms of staining or anything, despite it being so crazy pigmented. Just really lovely, buttery, smooth formula. It does dry down semi-gloss, so I think any top coat's going to be just fine with it. And if you choose to wear it at one coat, it can definitely do that. Really wonderful formula. I can't rave about it enough. It's just so satisfying on those brush strokes. And the holographic effect is very strong in person. In the sunlight, it's going to light up like crazy and just give you that really nice linear rainbow effect. And Cuticula brings us Nightmare Moon. This is a burgundy to plum base with purple metallic flakes, various shifting iridescent flakes, blue shimmer, green sparks, and platinum silver flakes. This is inspired by Nightmare Moon from My Little Pony. Price is $12.50 and there is no cap on it. So the formula is very curly-like. It applies very dense on the nail, and it's one of those formulas that stays put where you put it. Now for opacity, it's definitely between 2 and 3 coats. Now I took it up to 3 coats, and it really darkens out to this nice plummy type of base. If you wear it at 2 coats, it'll have a little bit more of that burgundy-ish purple-like effect, which you'll see here in just a moment. This is packed full of flakes and those awesome platinum silver flakes that are one of my favorites. I really like how in this polish, those silver flakes take on a bit of a purple tone, given how dense that base is, and they still offer up a bit of a reflective sparkle. Now this one does dry down quite a bit on the flat side, so you're going to want to use a really good glossy top coat. I didn't have any problems in terms of texture or anything, but it's just quite flat. With number 3 here, you can see it just darkens out quite a bit. Really nice rich formula, very lovely type of self-leveling factor with it too. Just really going to depend on how you want to wear it. Now, Cuticula also brings us a Confection Nail Fortifier Duo. This is 2 half-ounce jars of Confection, in the sense Poison Apple and Campfire Delights. Price will be $13 and there is no cap on it. Now, I am a picky apple scent kind of gal. I typically kind of shy away from apple scents, but the apple scent on this one is crisp, it's lovely, and it's straight like a true type of apple. Very fresh and clean type smelling. It's lovely. Now the other scent, Campfire Delights, is awesome. I'm definitely getting a bit of a chocolate tone with it, with that graham cracker and a touch of vanilla in the undertones. It smells like a straight up s'more. It's awesome. It's so good. Now the formula on Confection is a medium to light type of formula. I've definitely used this a ton in the past, and how I like to do it is just add little dabs onto my nails. Normally my nails would be polished of some type, and I'll get a little bit of that residue just up against my cuticles. I personally like that, as I wash my hands a ton, as I'm sure we're all doing, and it just kind of lingers a little bit and it soaks in very well against your skin. So don't forget, apply your moisturizer underneath your nails so that you'll get that nice flexibility. And Fair Maiden Polish brings us Halloween is MEOWgical. This is a cool toned rosy pink with red to golden to green shimmer and holographic sparkle. This is inspired by an image of Pusheen the cat in a Halloween type theme. Price is $11 and there's no cap on it. So this one, I was worried how the video was going to come out, but watching the playback, I'm not so worried anymore, at least on my monitor. I think you guys are getting a good representation of what I'm seeing in person. It does have a lighter, somewhat sheer type formula, but it does build up very quickly on the nail. So for opacity, I'm going to suggest 3 coats on it. It's got a strong holographic effect, but that shimmer is so crazy strong in it. The base color is definitely a cool toned rose, but the shimmer is very warm, so it warms it up and gives this nice strong glowing effect. And in bright and indoor lights, you'll see it, what you see on the video, it's this coppery type of goldish type of lean to it, and at angles it easily shifts over to a strong green. It's very, very pretty. Even though this overall looks quite a bit on the warm side, I thought it popped very well against myself. Really nice flattering type of color, and that holographic sparkle is awesome with it. So we've got this nice jelly-like buildup at the third coat here. You can see it plumping out very nicely. Now at this point in the month, my nails are on the more normal side for what I like to keep them in terms of length. So not super long, but I do have a bit of free edge here. And I still thought that 3 thin coats on it is going to flatter it the best. And Femme Fatale brings us Green Witch. This is a sheer purple base with stunning green to blue to purple shifting shimmer and silver holographic micro glitters in various sizes, along with an accent olive green micro glitters. This is inspired by an image of a witch in a dusky green field. Price is $14 and there is no cap on it. So this is a very somewhat heavy type of crelly feel on application, but it applies super smooth on the nail, very satisfying on the brush strokes. These are one of my favorite types of finishes from this brand. I really love the very complex type of shades. And as you build this one up, you'll see that there's so much sparkle from the glitters, but the shimmer starts to just take over everything else. So in bright lights and indoor lights, you're going to see this strong, foresty, almost emerald type of green. And at the edges of your nails, you'll see that dusky purple type of base. Now, I took this one up to 3 coats. I thought it plumped out very nicely at that point. And in my opinion, if you take it to 3 thin coats, I think it pops the best. So strong shimmer effect, and at angles, that shimmer definitely shifts over to a lovely glowy type of purple. This one does dry down quite a bit on the flat side. It does have just a little bit of a thirsty quality given how much glitter is in this one. So you're going to want to use a good glossy top coat. And Glisten and Glow brings us a Monster Mash. This is a vampy deep purple polish loaded with vibrant and glowing copper shimmer. This is inspired by that earworm that we all know, Monster Mash. Price will be $12.50 and there's a cap of $350 US and $15 UK. So this has a very crelly-like formula, but it's super smooth on the brush strokes, very satisfying. Now for opacity, I'm going to suggest between 2 and 3 coats. This is very characteristic of a little bit more on the jelly side in that depending on how you wear it, it's really going to depend on how deep and vampy this one comes off. I took it up to 3 light coats and you can see it almost leans on the black side in terms of how vampy it gets. Now this is packed full of that copper shimmer. It's very strong in person, and I think this one really glows. Now it does dry down flat, and I think it looks awesome either mattified or glossified. But of course, I'm a glossy gal, so on the final hand shot, you're going to see it glossified again. Now I'm showing you guys the Glisten and Glow Glossy Top Coat. I've been getting a ton of questions on what top coat I've been wearing recently. So this is what you guys have been seeing quite a bit here the last few weeks. It does not smear stamps, and it gives you that gorgeous plump glossy like effect, and it dries down very quickly. That's another reason why it can definitely be used for swatching. So, speaking of the top coat, Glisten and Glow is going to be offering us another duo this month. This is her new glitter grabber and her glossy top coat. So, the top coat has been around for a while. It's awesome. It's definitely been award winning and all that good stuff. But the glitter grabber here is a little bit on the newer side. I want to say it released about a month and a half ago, if memory serves me well. I did do a review on it. So I know that there's a lot of people who are new to watching my channel for my polished pickup videos. So I'm going to show you guys on a super chonky type of glitter. This is a pixie dust from Zoya. It's incredibly textured, lots and lots of glitter. So what you do with this is you use the glitter grabber over your polish of choice, whether it's a chunky type of flake or glitter. Let it dry down just for a few minutes. You'll see how it kind of sets across your nail, and then finish off with the top coat. So the glossy top coat here, just go in pretty liberal with it. Again, it dries down very quickly, really quick to do this. And you can see in the final look here, I've got no texture. In person, I mean, I rubbed my nails hardcore just to make sure everything is smoothed out between the foundation of the glitter grabber and the glossy top coat. And MLF Lacquer brings us Trick or Treat. This is a white crelly with purple and orange holographic glitters, matte neon green glitters, black shredded hollow glitters, and silver holographic micro glitters. This will be 11 and the cap is 190 US and 10 UK. So the formula is very curly-like. It's got quite a bit of squish to it, and it builds up very quickly to opacity. This is another super smooth type of curly feel on those brush strokes. And per usual, I give my bottles a good shake before applying, and you can see here that I've got a wonderful mix of glitters on my nails. So there's no need to fish or special placement, anything like that. It just applies very, very well and dense on the nail. Now the base color is what I would consider a soft but still true stark white type of base, and it allows all of those awesome glitters to really shine through on your nails. Really lovely, very Halloween type shade. Now I took it up to 2 coats and I thought it plumped up beautifully. I did not see a need to go to a 3rd coat. And Night Owl Lacquer brings us Let Your Fears Take Flight. This is a dark gray crelly filled with orange to bronze to gold to green and aqua to green crystal flakes and a sprinkle of hollow dust. This is inspired by a spooky Halloween picture. Price is $13 and there is no cap on it. So this has a definite crelly feel, but in terms of buildup and how it behaves, I think it leans a touch more on the jelly side. It is very easy to build up to opacity, as you'll see here in just a moment. At the 2nd coat, it is so packed full of flakes. If you are like me and you love Lindsay's flakes, this is another one you're going to want to pick up. It's just so crazy full of them, and it gives you that strong mosaic-like effect in that they have their own rainbow type of effect. So you'll see all that copper, yellows, greens, blues, it's all over the place. And the base color is definitely a dark gray. It's what I would consider like a smoky type of gray, and as you build it up, it definitely deepens out, but it allows all of those flakes to shine through. Now, depending on how you prefer this one to look, really going to depend on if you go to 2 or 3 coats. I took it up to a 3rd thin coat, and you can see here it plumped up very nice, and it really maximized the flaky presence here. So you'll get that pond effect. You can see them in between your layers, and that smoky dark base really packs a punch here too. And Pahlish brings us the Big Boo. This is a sheer holographic indigo base packed with electric blue flakes and micro shimmer. This is inspired by the Big Boo from Super Mario World, aka the best game in existence. Price is $13 and there is no cap on it. So this has a very luminous, very glowy type of effect with it. I wore it around for a day or 2 after I swatched it because I was worried that my camera was going to really pick up the shimmer in it on the video and my swatches. I feel like it did on my actual photos, but on the video, I feel like it's being decently representative of what I'm seeing in person, although it is just a touch darker in real life. So this definitely has that nice sheer holographic type of indigo feel on the base color, but as you build it up, what takes over everything are those electric blue flakes. They are bright, they're in your face, and they're just very, very luminous. This is what I would consider a little bit on the complex side in that it's kind of hard to really capture in terms of swatches, at least for me, and it's just so much glow. You're going to want to wear a good glossy top coat just to really make this one pop. And for opacity, definitely going to depend on your preference. Once again, I took it up to 2 light coats, and then I went in for a 3rd coat that I kind of did that icing effect with it, where I kind of beat it up against my cuticles and then gently spread it out. It's just so glowy. And Penelope Luch brings us Moon Spells. I wanted to show you guys the box for this one. Super cute Halloween packaging. I'm digging it. And Moon Spells is described as a dark blue base with iridescent flakes in purple to turquoise and orange with holographic glitters. This is inspired by the importance of the moon for Halloween rituals. Price is $13 and there is no cap on it. So this has a very dense jelly-like feel on the brush strokes, and it builds up very quickly to opacity. So 2 to 3 coats is going to be perfect for everyone. And you can see on this first coat, it starts off very jelly-like, but just wait, in a moment you'll see it really starts to pack a punch on that 2nd coat. There is a ton of sparkle with it, and this is another very complex type of shade, especially that the flakes just really start to build up and just take over everything as you go up on your coats. So as you can see on this 2nd coat here, I probably could have stopped, but I wanted to see what a 3rd coat would look like. And I think it looks really good either way. So depending on how you want to wear it. Now this does dry down very much so on the flat side, so to get that really glass-like effect, you're going to want to finish off with a glossy top coat. Now in the final hand shot here, this is what I'm talking about with that glossy top coat. It just really just is eye-catching, lots of sparkle and lots of shift from all the flakes here. And Penelope Luch also brings us a moisturizing cuticle cream. Again, adorable packaging on this one too. This is described as an intense cuticle cream that contains tea tree oil and clove oil to prevent fungus and moisturize your cuticles and hands. The price on this one will be $11.50 and there is a cap of 100 US and 20 UK. Now the formula for this type of cream, I want to almost classify it as a balm in that it has a much heavier feel than a lot of other cuticle creams I've used, and it almost creates like a barrier-like effect in how it dries down very matte against your skin too. So this was the first time I was using it for the video, and I just applied little dollops against my nails. Now I was testing it out and kind of playing with it a little bit later after I recorded, just to get my overall impression of it, and I did very similar method to what I'm doing in the video, but I also applied a few drops to my palms too, just to get a little extra residue and kind of, you know, smother it all over my hands. It's very moisturizing. Again, it's on a denser type of formula, does dry down quite a bit, on giving this matte-like effect. And Poetry Cowgirl Polish brings us We're Not All Witches. This is a spring green shimmer with strong gold to green to blue shift, inspired by a selfie of the maker in Salem, Massachusetts. Price is $11 and there is no cap on it. So this has a jelly-like feel in my opinion. It does apply very smooth on the nail, and as you build it up, it definitely takes on this somewhat olive type of green, but it does have this strong goldish greenish type of shimmer in it that definitely kind of gives this luminous type of effect. Now for opacity on this one, I'm going to suggest 3 coats on it, as I thought it plumped out very nicely on the 3rd. So just going to depend on how you want to wear it. Again, you'll see it here on that 2nd coat. I've got really nice coverage with it, but in person I felt like my smile line was showing quite a bit, so I took it up to 3 coats and I really liked how it appeared. Now the shimmer does have a subtle blue shift. I personally found that it was on the more subtle side, so I think what you're going to see mostly, especially in indoor lighting, is this strong greenish goldish like appearance. Now this does dry down quite a bit on the flat side, so once again, in lieu of repeating myself, you're going to want to wear a good glossy top coat with it. And Whatcha brings us Smiley Jack. This is a jelly base with crystal flakes and chrome flakes in red, copper, gold, green, and gold glitter. This is inspired by a jack-o'-lantern wallpaper. Price is $13 and there is a cap of 200 US and 20 UK. So this is straight up definitely Halloween in a bottle. The formula on it is incredibly smooth. It's got that glassy type of jelly effect when you're doing your brush strokes. Now for opacity on this one, again, I'm going to suggest 3 lighter coats on it. If you choose to wear it at 2 coats, I would suggest going in normal on your coats, but I personally found that going in light and allowing it to slowly build up to 3 coats really maximizes all the flakes you'll see. So they pop very well against that black base and really plumps out nicely. So they have a very obvious reddish copper to gold and green shift at angles, and they just really are just so incredibly prominent. Now the gold glitter here is very sparkly, and you'll see it once I top coat that it just pops very well. So Whatcha also is releasing a top coat, which is basically a glitter and flaky smoothing top coat. This is like the first step foundation, and you can wear it with any type of glossy top coat or quick dry top coat to finish off. So firstly, I'm showing the top glitter top coat to you guys. It's got a nice smooth type of formula to it. Just wait a few minutes. You'll see it kind of get a little bit foggy looking almost, and then you'll know it's dried down. And then I'm finishing off with Glisten and Glow's quick dry glossy top coat, and you can see just how glossy it is. Again, I have found that using these glitter smoothing top coats along with a glossy top coat to finish it off. It gives it such a crazy glossy like effect, which is of course what we want from these flat glitters and textured flakies and all that good stuff. Now, Pahlish Pickup goes live for shopping September 4th at 11 a.m. Eastern Time through September 7th at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. Wish listing should be up soon. Definitely going to depend on when this video gets posted. I'm aiming for Sunday evening, but we shall see depending on how my very slow computer decides to compile this. So I'm super stoked for this month. I know my personal wish list is probably going to have a ton of non-polished items on it. As real talk, I've already started decorating my apartment. I've got some ghost statues out. Really cute. This is one of my favorite times of year. And yes, it's a little early, but your girl also does this for Christmas because she's extra and I really like festive things. So again, let me know in the comment section what you guys are going to get. I so love reading your comments and you guys always deliver. So let me know what's on your wish list, what you're planning on getting and all that good stuff. I love, love, love interacting with you guys. I will link you guys below to Pahlish Pickup's shop in case wish listing is already live by the time I get this video up, and the Facebook fan group where voting for the next month's theme is going to happen. October is already chosen, so I think this weekend is going to be November's theme. You can get in there and vote on what you want for your nominations, and there's lots of other swatches and other awesome things to check out. As always, if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching.